welcome back to Untitled-2 podcast. My name is Connor.
My name is Ash.
I'm pretty sure a few podcasts ago we talked about changing that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure a few podcasts ago it was like, oh, well, we might just experiment with not having an intro at all and just cut straight into us talking. And then immediately afterwards we're all like, oh, let's like redesign shit and I'll make a new intro and all that shit. And so our intro's still there. And the next episode is going to be a good one.
Yep. 50th episode's a big thing.
Big.
It's going to be a big thing. You want to follow us on Twitter for that?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because we won't be giving anything away. We won't be doing any promotions or anything like that. We're all just going to say, yo, 50 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to start this podcast off where something that's been on my mind a lot lately because I've been playing it a lot lately.
Yeah. Is it money?
Money.
Is it money on your mind?
There is a lot of money on my mind.
Your mind's on your money.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for throwing me off there. Really appreciate it.
So it was on your mind. Mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I plotted Lego Marvel Superheroes 1.
Yeah, you did.
You were there for that.
Yeah, you big. I wasn't there for the plot. I was there while
you were there for most. Well, I plotted it like an hour after you left.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I started playing the second one.
Yep.
And I'm glad I got the platinum on the first one before I started playing the second one because the second one's so much better that I wouldn't have wanted to play the first one anymore.
Right.
There's just so many problems in the first one that I just put up with that were ironed out in the second one. For example, if you need a specific character for something when you're doing free play and it's not something you can just toggle to, you just have to open the character menu and navigate through this fucking ridiculous catalogue of characters to get the one that you need. But now, if you're in front of something that, say, needs Black Panther, you hold triangle and it'll automatically put your cursor on Black Panther so you can just switch to it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Just a lot of other cool shit that there was a trophy in the first one for getting 1 billion studs.
Yeah.
Which seemed ridiculous, but you could get these Deadpool bricks which unlock cheats which can create multipliers. So I had ×2 and then ×4, ×6, ×8, ×10, and they can stack. So if you have them all on at the same time, it's ×3,840.
Wow. So
if you pick up a blue stud, which is normally 1,000, that is 34,800.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're available from the start with the new Gwenpool bricks, which they've used instead of Deadpool, which I'll come on to why he's not in it. And so you can just, as soon as you've got the studs, go and buy one. So I've got something like 11 trillion studs now. I can't spend them enough. Like
that is a lot.
But yeah, so one of the weirdest things I noticed about it straight off is it's mostly just the characters that Disney has the rights to for their movies and such. So there's no X-Men.
Okay.
There's no Deadpool. There's no Fantastic Four. I'm happy about that. To be honest, even like before any of the movies ruined Fantastic Four, even in the comics, they were kind of shit. There was a short spree in the comics where they were the Future Foundation and Spider-Man was part of the team for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the only time I actually got into Fantastic Four. Other than that, they've always bored the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
So I thought they just excluded them and X-Men because they're not really big anymore. Obviously, X-Men still has a bit of momentum behind it, but it's petering out. But the reason they didn't is apparently because there's so much red tape to get through to try and get the rights from Fox to use Marvel characters that they just didn't bother this time because of the budget and the time constraints and stuff. So they just went with Disney-owned characters, and then some other ones like the Inhumans, who I've never really read anything about.
No, never have I.
Black Bolt is like the leader. He's a really cool character. Pardon me. Obviously, I've read comics with him in it because he's always been a pretty big Marvel character. One of the cool things about him is that he can't speak by choice because his superpower is like a super voice. He can kill people just by shouting.
Wow.
So he's just constantly mute because if he so much as whispers, he could kill the person next to him. Which is just cool. I think that's really cool.
Inconvenient, though. What
if
he talks in his sleep?
He's also a king, a ruler of some sort. I can't remember what the place is called. Atalan or something.
Can you imagine, like...
Matalan.
He's watching he's watching a football match or just anything, and like his team scores, and he's like, "Get in!" And everyone just dies in their room.
Windows just shattered, TV falls off the wall.
I hope that.
And he just goes, "Fuck!" and building just collapses around him.
Fucking Earth implodes.
Yeah, really cool character. So they've got a lot of. So the main story is basically Kang the Conqueror, who is one of the 3 biggest supervillains. You've got Thanos, you've got Galactus, who was fucking completely ruined in the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. He wasn't a thing. He was just a cloud one or something. Yeah. And like it ended so quickly, and it was like, all right, cool.
And then you've got Kang the Conqueror. I've read a couple of comics with Kang the Conqueror in it.
Kind of upset that his name don't end in us, like Thanos and Galactus.
Yeah. The cool thing about him is he always brings multiverses together, like the Spider-Verse, and that's exactly what they've done with the game. So basically, because he can travel time and he conquers different time zones and different universes and stuff. So
he's just massively bored then, yeah.
Yeah. In the first game, you just had Manhattan to run around in. And looking back on it, God, was it boring.
Right.
Like, I enjoyed it at the time, but if, like I said, if I'd have played the second one and gone back to that, I'd have been like, oh, fuck, this is dry. But yeah, so Kang has cut up all these worlds and universes and eras and mashed them into this one mega city called Chronopolis.
Okay.
So you've got Manhattan, a bit of Manhattan, and it's snowing, so it looks a bit different.
Okay.
Which is next to Wakanda and what's it called? Kunlun? Oh no, Kunlun.
Okay.
Which is where Iron Fist got his Iron Fist powers. And then you've got, well, there's loads of different Manhattans. There's Nueva York, which is from Spider-Man 2099, which everybody's heard of. And there's Manhattan Noir from the Noir Spider-Man series, which is really cool.
Yeah. We had a game where you could play as Noir Spider-Man.
Yeah. What was it called?
Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions, that's it. I made a font called Shattered Dimensions.
I wasn't a fan of that game.
I enjoyed it, but I'm just really into anything Spider-Man. So.
Yeah, I used to be, but now I'm like just into anything Gwen, fucking Spider-Woman.
Spider-Gwen, yeah. Spider-Gwen is in the game, which is awesome. Like, she's a really cool character, and it gave me the push I needed to start reading Spider-Gwen comics, which are really the ones I've been reading are called Spider-Women.
Okay.
And it's got Spider-Woman that we all know with the sort of
like Silk in it as well.
Yeah, Silk. Silk is such a cool character, man. In the sort of story arc I'm reading, her arch nemesis is herself from a different universe.
Right.
And she's just so much better than herself, and it's just really cool.
It's like a Dark Link situation.
Yeah. So for your birthday, I got you a Spider-Gwen figure because you're a big fan of Spider-Gwen. And now I kind of want to get it, but after reading this Spider-Women comic, I want like I want a Silk figure. I don't even know if Marvel Select do a Silk one, but I'm going to try and find one.
Yeah.
And I want like the standard Spider-Woman, which I know they already have. But yeah, I love Spider-Verse comics. I have a really, really good one where it's just everyone becomes Spider-Man, basically. Everyone gets bitten by radioactive spiders, and you've got like Spider-Wolverine and Spider-Iron Man and shit. It's crazy.
I read a bit of the Spider-Gwen comics, and there was a bit in it where she got knocked out or something like that. Or she was hallucinating, and she hallucinated Spider-Pig or something, didn't she? Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham, yeah. He's in the Lego game as well.
That's sick.
Yeah, what I really liked about the Spider-Gwen comics is she becomes Spider-Woman in place of Peter Parker.
Yeah, who he becomes obsessed with Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, he's jealous because he wants to be special like her. So he works with Dr. Kurt Connors on the lizard serum and becomes the lizard. Gwen doesn't know until she beats the lizard and inadvertently kills Peter Parker. And then she has to live with that on her conscience. And like every time she goes to a universe where Peter Parker still exists, she like avoids going near him because she don't want to upset herself.
No, yeah, I remember that because like when he dies, inadvertently, turns back into Peter Parker, doesn't he?
Yeah,
And she's like
she's
cradling
holding him in her arms.
and then the police show up and think that she just killed him outright.
So everyone thinks that the murderer is
and obviously
Spider-Woman.
Gwen Stacy's dad's always a cop in it.
Yeah.
And he gets promoted. He has to hunt down Spider-Gwen and that. And
yeah, the interesting thing is the person that takes over his job is something Castle. I can't remember.
Is it like Frank Castle? It's
Frank Castle. It's Punisher. Yeah. Which is cool. And then there's sort of a sub story going on at the moment where like the police is corrupt because Frank Castle's in charge. And
I really like Spider-Gwen.
Yeah,
because like up until I used to really love Spider-Man, but like every comic and every movie or game, it was always the same shit. Change the actor or change how his origin story is and stuff like that, but it was always the same. And then I didn't even know about the Spider-Verse, and then fucking Spider-Gwen shows up, and I'm like, that is a sick-ass costume.
Yeah.
I want to know more. And then I got back into like the whole Spider-Verse shit, anything Spider-Man or woman related. And I'm so stoked for this Spider-Man game coming up.
The last time I read comics it must have been about 5 years ago or something. I remember X-Men versus Avengers had just finished up, and that was sort of the last story arc that I fully read. And then I just sort of truth be told, I had a girlfriend at the time, and Marvel was always sort of our thing. Her dad was a big Marvel fan as well, so we were always like getting together and talking about comics and stuff. And then when I broke up with her, it just affected me a bit, so I was like, I'll stay away from that for a bit. And then I just sort of never went back to it. And this like Lego Marvel game has pushed me back in. There's so many things that have happened, so many things I've missed, so much cool shit that's happened. And Squirrel Girl's got really big, so I've got loads of Squirrel Girl comics that I want to read.
I'd like to give it a read just to see what the whole fucking thing's about, because like people really love her, and I don't know, man, it boomed while I was working in that comic shop.
Yeah.
So I'd just like to give it a read and just be like, hopefully there'll be a point where like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, there's a couple of characters in it as well. Chipmunk Hunk.
Yeah.
And Koi Boy. Ridiculous.
I imagine... I wonder if it's like a parody or something like that, like most.
I don't know. I like that it's not taking itself too seriously. That seems to be like a theme in Marvel Comics at the moment.
Yeah.
Just like comedy is taking over a bit, which has always been a good thing. Like the best thing about Spider-Man was always his sense of humor. How he could be in the most death-defying situations and still be quipping.
Yeah. I think the movies never really got that right. The Tobey Maguire ones definitely didn't.
This new one's not bad.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield kind of got it.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the funniest moments is where, I can't remember if it's in the first or second one, but like, some guy's trying to steal a car or something, and he just slingshots down, and then he pulls the gun out. He's like, oh, "No, bullets, my only weakness or something."
Yeah.
But like, those movies are a bit shit. But this new guy, Tom Holland, the fucking sweetheart that he is.
Yeah.
He plays it so well, and the comedy is brilliant.
Civil War, just when he first met all the Avengers, just so funny. Just just really, really good. Like,
he just sees all these superheroes he obviously idolizes, and he's got to fight a few of them, and he's just like, he's fighting them, but he's like, just wants to be their friend and get a signature and all that shit. And and I like in the movie as well, he's talking to his friend about how he's Spider-Man, and he's all like, I met Captain America, stole his shield.
There's some really good, I don't know what I was going to say then. I keep doing that, like just starting a sentence and I'm like, where did those words come from? Where am I going? When I was reading comics, I had like a top 5 list of favorite characters, which was Iron Man, Deadpool, Songbird, who is one of the Thunderbolts, I think they're called.
Yeah.
But they don't ever seem to do anything with her anymore, which is so disappointing because I thought she was such a cool character. Basically, she sings and makes things appear by singing, and she had these like wings that would.
So she's basically a Disney princess.
Yeah. And Miss Marvel was one of them as well. You saw the blonde one with the like black leotard with the thunderbolt on it and the red scarf.
Yeah.
She's, I think, dead. She's gone. They got rid of her. But that must have happened like just after I stopped reading comics.
Right.
And I was playing this Lego game and I unlocked Miss Marvel like right at the beginning. And it wasn't the Miss Marvel I know. And I was like, who is this? She's got like Mr. Fantastic's stretch ability. She can shrink down like Ant-Man. She can go big like Giant Man. What else can she do? She regenerates health, so I'm assuming she's like invincible.
Maybe.
In some way. But yeah, I thought she's really cool. Like the things that she was saying were like really rang true with like current generations and stuff, and like she's really into taking selfies, and she writes fan fiction, and she's a huge fan of other Marvel superheroes. So whenever she met one, she'd like geek out a bit. And
so is it based off the new like direction that the Miss Marvel comics took then?
Yeah. Okay. So she's. I don't want to guess her nationality, but she's. I don't physically actually know what her nationality is, but I know it's not American. And so the thing that upsets me about it, which this always upsets me, it's not because I'm one of those guys that are like, oh, fuck feminism, it's ruining everything. The thing that upsets me about it is they've made her this sort of icon. Oh, from articles I've read, like the people who wrote these bullshit articles have taken her as an icon.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, she represents this culture, she represents feminism and all this other stuff, and they're trying to make a stand for something. I think that always detracts from any character building. Any effort you put into a character at that point will be ignored because people will just take her as this icon for feminism or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with the morality of doing that. I'm not disagreeing with the argument that's trying to be made there. I think it's good to do things like that. It's good to get the message out, and especially when these comics are being read by kids, and it's going to bring them into a world where they understand these kind of things. But to make that all a character is about, it calls back to what we were saying in an earlier podcast when we were talking about sort of people introducing themselves by going, hi, I'm gay.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have a problem with the fact that you're gay, but don't make that the only thing that you are. Don't make that how you're identified.
It's like the least important thing you need to know about
someone.
Exactly.
Like I said, if I introduce myself and I had to give some piece of information about myself, which I usually wouldn't, I'd probably say I'm a graphic designer.
There's many different things, like hi.
Oh, I'm really into gaming.
I'm really into like collecting trophies in games. I'm really into this sort of music, this type of art, shit like that. I like this movie. There's so many different things that you can say about yourself, and to just boil it down into one thing, like I'm like, because she's like a Muslim feminist thing in the comic.
Yeah.
To say, oh, I'm a Muslim feminist freedom fighter, it's like, okay. Anything else? No? Okay.
Yeah. It's like if I introduced myself to somebody and said, hi, my name's Connor, I'm a straight white male.
Yeah. They'd be like, okay, why? I don't know. There's a thing about straight white males, though, like, we're the worst in the world.
Yeah. Because we haven't experienced hardship.
Even though, like...
I think everybody experiences a different kind of hardship.
Yeah.
Everybody has difficulty in their life unless they're just fed it by these rich parents.
The worst thing as well is like everyone can imagine what it's like to experience a different type of hardship. And so when you say like something like, I understand how you feel when that guy said that racist thing towards you. Yeah,
it's not hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yeah, and they're like, no, you don't. You're white. You don't understand. And it's like, I'm a human being with empathy, and I understand shit, man. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
I was working. I probably told this story before. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast, but I was working at Victoria Hall, and there was this woman who worked the reception, and I don't know what her original like heritage was, but her family have been in England for centuries.
Yeah,
she's probably the most British person I knew at the time. I don't know. She's probably more British than my heritage. But she was talking about racism and that at one point, and what it's like to be a woman, to be an Asian woman. And I was like, oh no, I can understand that. And she was like, no, you can't. You're a straight white male. I'm like, yeah, but I'm an intelligent person. Like,
yeah,
I can put myself in someone's shoes. I can understand what it's like. I don't need to experience something to understand it. That's not how the world works.
Yeah. Well,
I've never experienced like half the shit I've read about physics. Like, I've never seen an atom split, but I understand how it works.
Yeah.
It just pisses me off, man.
Well, my point is that there's different kinds of hardship that all sort of result in the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
You can't say just because you had a different type of hardship from somebody else that your hardship is more important, your struggle through life is more important than somebody else's.
It's subjective, isn't it? Like,
exactly. And at the end of the day, all that really matters is how it's affected somebody. There could be two people in the exact same situation, but somebody else is better at dealing with it. And they would never go around saying things like, "Oh, you don't know what it's like." But the person who was affected most, would cling on to that more, would be affected by that more. My points are getting more and more redundant as I go. But my point is that it all that matters is how it affects somebody's mind.
Yeah.
And just because somebody else went through a different type of hardship, it's not up to you to rank whether your hardship is more important than theirs, because they could have been affected more by their hardship than you by yours.
Yeah.
Does that even make sense? Was that coherent?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. A weird thing that happens to us quite a lot, semi-related, is even though my family is like 100%, well, I can't, obviously it's not 100% British because we all originated from Africa. and then we
Pangea.
all bred along the way and all that shit. So no one's fully 100% like their nationality. There's always like a bit of Indian, a bit of whatever, all mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly my family is like as close as you can get British. Like our family's not like migrated over from like India at some point, or I think my mum, there might be some Irish somewhere in her bloodline somewhere. But my dad's clearly like 100% British, man. We even got a super British name, Parsons.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's got religious ties to it, which I'm not too happy about. But we've got like a sort of like Italian look to us.
Agreed.
Which I don't know where that's come from. I don't think there's any Italian in our family. My dad's got really dark skin for a white guy.
Yeah, sort of dark olivish skin. Like all the women in your family, and you, whatever that means, have these really dark under eyes.
I think mine's just from not having a regular sleep cycle.
That too.
But yeah, and our nose shape is very like it's like.
Oh, I wasn't gonna go there, mate.
I don't know what the problem is. Like my nose isn't big.
I don't go around saying you have an Italian nose. By the way, I do say it's Roman.
Is it Roman?
It's a very Roman nose.
But
where's Rome?
But I don't know. It's not a big nose. It's got a nice shape to it. There's no weird kinks or twists or turns in my nose. It's not a small button nose, mate. It's not fucking super big and bulbous. I don't know why people keep saying I have a big nose. It's an okay nose, all right?
You're clearly been affected by this. This is one of your hardships.
but yeah, like, and people always ask, like, we're talking about mums, like, so where are you from then? And they're like, she'd be like, Bradford. It's like, no, but before that, I'm like, I've always lived in Bradford. It's like, so, no, but where's your family from originally? It's like, I don't know what you're saying. We're not Italian. So yeah, that was semi-related to what you were saying.
Yeah. So I'm going to drag us back to
Miss Marvel. Is that where you're going?
I don't know if I have more to say about it. I've got some Miss Marvel comics because I am interested. Mostly I'd like to see whether they have just made it this icon and every episode is just some moral story or whatever. I'm not going to be interested. Yeah, issue. I'm not going to be interested if it's that. But she is a really cool character. She has a really quirky personality in the game. Yeah. So I would like to see more of that
in that comic shop
if it holds out.
I read like maybe the first I'd say 5 issues because I think it was new, went back then, or relatively new. And I didn't. Obviously, I've never read anything Miss Marvel before, so I didn't understand how the powers work and all that. But it seemed like Miss Marvel was like a projection, and just came to her and was like, "I'm giving you my powers.
Yeah,
do good with them."
I was reading her bio on the game, and it said that the original Miss Marvel, when passing away, passed on her powers to the new one.
And so I didn't know if like that's the thing that Miss Marvel, just happens. Like a Miss Marvel will die, and then like like the Avatar, like the powers will pass on to the next person who deserves them. Kind of like a Thor's hammer situation as well. But she seemed. I think she wrote fan fiction in that as well. She just seemed like an average teenage girl who was obsessed with superheroes, and then she got these powers. Yeah. And I don't know, like. I don't know what nationality I was, like you say, but I think she's definitely Muslim. And I got like a really sneaky suspicion that she might be a bit gay. who knows?
Yeah, just why not pile it all on? She can represent another group of people.
She was very quirky, and like if she was a male, she'd totally be like an incel or something, mate. But like, yeah, I don't know. There could be some sort of charm to her. I didn't get into it enough for me to carry on. And,
yeah,
but yeah, give it a shot. Let me know how it goes on, because I'd read it as well.
There are some newish characters that I've found out about recently as well that we're only slightly in the game so far. Sort of these new young Avengers.
Yeah.
And one of my least favourite characters is Captain America. It's just...
Same.
Well, we don't need to go over it. We've gone over it a million times.
There's a character I hate more than Captain America. Bucky Barnes.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hate Bucky Barnes, mate.
Do you know what? Winter Soldier was so cool in the comics.
Yeah.
I had a Winter Soldier comic, and I read it multiple times because it was really cool. But in the films, it's just... God, I'm sick of hearing
about it.
It's
It's really awkward bromance that's not fully evolved into a homosexual relationship yet, but it's getting there.
But yeah, in this sort of young Avengers team, there's somebody called America Chavez.
Okay.
Who's like a Mexican Captain America. I'm aware of the irony. And she seems really cool. Like, I'm going to try and find some comics that have got her in it, because she seems like a really cool character. I've seen her in a few places. I've seen some pages from comics with her in it, and she's like a new Captain America that's not this fucking shove it in your face patriotic arsehole. So
who understands that America isn't the end of the world? There is more beyond the boundaries.
Yeah. Other than that, playing the Lego game, one of the first things you get, the first level, is a Guardians of the Galaxy level in Xandar.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, so I wasn't looking forward to it because obviously they didn't do a great job of them in the first game, but the films weren't a thing then, so
yeah,
fair enough. Also, Telltale did disgusting, horrific, very graphic, disgusting things to the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, they did.
That don't need to be brought up.
It wasn't a fun game, mate.
No. The characters were so
usually
awkward.
with a Telltale game, right, when I play it for just the platinum, I can sit through the game in one sitting and get the plat immediately, like 8 hours later or whatever.
Yeah, but it's just so hard to see butcher the characters.
It wasn't even that. Like, it just, it felt very much like a 2005 game.
Yeah.
It wasn't polished.
Yeah.
There were glitches everywhere. The animation sucked. The audio wasn't processed enough. Like, one character will say something and it'll be like regular speaking volume, and then another guy will say something and they've not processed it. It's like 10 decibels louder, and
that happens a lot in the Lego games as well.
And
like they record the audio in different booths.
Yeah. The story wasn't written very well. I just didn't give a shit what was going on.
Well, in this Lego game, they've done the Guardians so well.
Oh, good.
Like, every time I have an option of what character to pick, I'll just pick Star-Lord. There's a bit where you can, if you hold circle, I don't know why I said there's a bit. At any time whilst playing Star-Lord, you can hold circle. He'll pull out a Walkman, stick on the headphones, and press play. And Mr. Blue Sky starts playing. All the enemies just start dancing. They don't care about fighting you anymore. They start dancing. Star-Lord's just dancing around with his arms out. And you mash square, and his guns will shoot wherever they're pointing, but it like spins quite a lot. And
yeah,
it's just so fun. You've got Baby Groot, but he found a device on Kang's ship or something, or some wreckage from Kang's ship, which lets him fast forward time on himself and grow up to normal Groot, which is really cool. What else? But yeah, the way that they've written and voice acted Star-Lord is just like Chris Pratt is doing it, but they've made him a bit more childish than Star-Lord,
right?
And a bit less serious. Like, Star-Lord's not very serious, but he's even less serious. So it feels like you're playing Andy Dwyer cosplaying Star-Lord. Just his sense of humor and everything. Oh, it's just really cool.
The Telltale games made Star-Lord really immature as well.
Yeah, but it's not good enough.
It's like not... his humor is immature, but not ridiculously immature. He does have a serious side and whatnot, and it wasn't. No matter what situation was going on in the Telltale games, he was just constantly like trying to get a joke out and stuff like that. And it was like,
But it was
off.
bad. It felt to me like a fan fiction of Spider-Man. I might have said that before.
Do you know where it felt like? I didn't know at the time because I not watched it, but it's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like where they'll start talking about something and it'll just devolve into a massive shout fest where they're all just shouting their opinions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game felt like. Something really important needed to happen, but they all just started arguing and cracking jokes here and there and stuff like that.
When somebody makes a Guardians of the Galaxy game, you'd expect it to be because they're a fan of a series.
Yeah.
And they're passionate about it.
I don't think Telltale gave a shit. There was like, that's an IP everyone likes.
Exactly. They were just cashing in, and there was no passion. There was no respect for the characters that were built up. It was just disgusting.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing.
Breaking off from that, if you've got anything else to say, like,
not really. I just, if you've got an opportunity, play Lego Marvel 2 because it's really good.
Do you remember years and years ago there was some very quiet rumours going around about an Uncharted movie?
Not so much quiet. I'm pretty sure it's set in stone now and it's actually happening. It's going to be about
a few years ago,
Drake.
A few years ago it was very, very quiet. Like,
yeah,
thing.
okay,
Like,
fair. Yeah.
It emerged and be like, oh, Uncharted movie, it's happening, guys. Then you wouldn't hear anything about it for years.
Exactly,
and then eventually it was like, oh, but it's still happening. Everyone was like, no, Nathan Fillion should play Drake because apparently it looks like him. I have no idea.
See it.
But recently I think they said that they want Tom Holland, or Tom Holland has been cast.
Yeah, I think I heard that as well, as young Drake.
Yeah, and immediately I was like, yes.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
That'd be brilliant. But everyone online have been complaining, like, oh no, it should only be Nathan Fillion. And I'm like, the dude
It's young Drake.
yeah, the dude's old and fat now, like, he wouldn't be able to pull it off. And even in his prime, I wouldn't have liked that. It just doesn't, I don't know. But people are fucking complaining, so I just wanted to get your opinion. You're like about Tom Holland playing it. Are you okay
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
he also kind of looks like young Drake.
Yeah, I think he's just the way he acts as well is like when he's playing Spider-Man, he's like just in constant awe of all these superheroes around him, and I feel like that's how he is as a person breaking into the acting world. He's in constant awe of working alongside all these amazing actors and stuff like that, and he just got such a passion for his job, and I feel like he'd be able to bring that to the Uncharted movie, because that's kind of like what Nathan Drake's like as well, and he's like he enjoys what he does, and that's what you need.
Drake is quite quippy as well. He likes to he talks to himself and stuff.
Well, he has to for the game, obviously, but
but it comes across like he's trying to amuse himself all the time. Like, he doesn't say funny stuff for the benefit of others, and I feel like Tom Holland fits that quite well. Yeah, he also is. He gets really enthusiastic and childish whenever he finds something new and exciting, which I think will be really cool to see. Yeah. With Tom Holland playing as young Drake.
Well, he's still really young, isn't he? Like, he's only a few years younger than us.
Yeah.
And he's just broken into this big, massive, world of acting and stuff like that. And I feel like they'd get him in to get the job if he hasn't already got it. Get him to audition and that. And as soon as he realizes he's got the job, I reckon he'll just throw everything he's got into it and do the best performance he possibly can. And that's what I like about our sweetheart Tom Holland, our national treasure.
Is he British?
Yeah, he's British.
Oh, that's even better.
Did you not know? Man,
it doesn't sound British.
I don't know, my voice keeps getting higher. No, yeah. Did you ever watch that movie? It came out a few years ago about the tsunami in Thailand, I think, called The Impossible.
No.
Good movie. Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm sticking with that. Good movie, right? Probably won't watch it again, but I watched it the first time and I was like, yes, good. Well, he was in that as like a young lad, and it was only a few years ago, man. I swear down. Yeah, I like Tom Holland. He's British, and he's our national treasure now. Trademarked.
I would have once said our national treasure would be Stephen Fry, but what's he doing now?
Having sex with a man who's like 30 years younger than him.
I feel like Stephen Fry is good potential to come out as one of these. No, actually, no. I have more respect for Stephen Fry.
No, yeah, me too.
To expect that. But it's always the ones you least expect, isn't it?
Didn't he had that monologue a while ago, didn't he, where it was all like, where he was talking about how he hates it when people say like they're offended, and he's all like, well, that's your problem. Like, it doesn't give you any special rights when you say you're offended. You don't have to apologise after that. So I don't think he's... I don't know, he's a good Blake. A good Blake.
He's a good Blake.
My mum's been watching this Australian drama thing, and I've just got the Australian accent running around in my head every day because of it, and it's fucking shit. It's called McLeod's Daughters, mate. I hate it. So that's why
Can't be worse than that fucking... What was it she used to watch?
The Australian kids show.
No, it wasn't Australian. It had Ron Dunn from Parks and Rec in it. You know, other Ron. Eagleton Ron.
Oh, that was a Canadian drama called Heartland.
That was awful. That was so... I can't believe
It's
how
the
many episodes
same-
of that I watched because of your mum.
It's the same thing. Heartland's about a ranch
Yeah.
in Canada. McLeod's Daughters is about a ranch in Australia. And it's fucking...
The only difference is the spiders are bigger.
and deadly. They're out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere fucking Australia. And it's like, there's rich people there, and it's like, if you're fucking rich, why move out in the fucking, arse end of nowhere in Australia? Move into the city, Melbourne. There's a shit ton of shit going down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Melbourne, as the
Melbourne,
native city.
Australia.
Fucking, I don't know, mate. My mum loves watching shit like that. It honestly fucks me off.
I don't... Yeah.
And do you know the vehicle called the Ute? It's a class of vehicles. Australians love them. It means utility vehicle, but they're just shorting down to Ute.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like if you got a pickup truck, sawed the back end of that pickup truck off, right, and then got a regular like 4-door small sports car that the young racers drive around, with the fucking sun lamp underneath and all that shit. And then sawed the front of that off and just stuck the two halves together. That's what a Ute is, and it looks stupid. And the show's littered with Utes in it. And every time I see one pull, I'm like, just buy a real car, you fuck. They like them because I think you need a license to drive 4-wheeled vehicles in Australia.
All right, okay.
And Utes are 2-wheel, and obviously they've got a flatbed at the back that you can put stuff in. So it makes sense why I've got it, but fucking just get the license, buy a pickup truck. Fuck me. Australia.
What were we talking about before we went off on this show with your mum was watching?
I don't know, but it's a good direction. We should stick with it, because I do like I love Australian comedy, because they're very much like our comedy. It's smart comedy.
Yeah.
Not like American comedy where it's all like, oh look, the idiot's being an idiot. In England, it's like, oh look, the smart guy's being an idiot. The rich guy or whatever, the sophisticated guy's being stupid. And I think it feels like it's the same in Australia. It's the same sort of like concept.
Mm-hmm.
And they swear just as much as we do, which is funny as shit. They're really imaginative with their swear, with their like insults and stuff.
The accent makes it funnier. Not the Australian accent.
Yeah.
Is it Bogan? It's called.
I don't know.
I was going to try and do an accent then, but every time I try and do an accent just on a whim, it goes incredibly wrong.
Yeah.
But what's your name, Sheila? That kind of thing is
Yeah.
not how Australians actually talk. But there's like a specific group of people.
Okay.
Is that the right way to say it?
You sure?
It's like culture, a specific culture, which I believe is called Bogan.
Do these people live out in the fucking outback, the arse end of nowhere?
I don't know. I don't know enough.
'Cause I imagine like the way that everyone imagines the Australian accent sounds is probably from like the country bumpkin areas,
Yeah, it's like the way I've heard it talked about is like a mix between a hillbilly and a chav
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah. I love their insults. Like they just say shit and you're like, I don't know what that means, but it's catchy. Like
Yeah.
like when they call someone a drongo. What the fuck's a drongo?
Did I talk about when I was reading that cricket report and I was trying to understand how the scoring system works in cricket? So I was reading an article somebody had written post game, and just some of the terminology they were using was so impossible to understand. Literally, one of the sentences was "googly through the gate."
Googly through the gate.
Yeah,
I have
googly
no
through the
idea.
gate.
Well, that reminds me of they asked there was a thing where they asked Americans what common British phrases meant and stuff like that, And when they were like, "What do you reckon throwing a wobbly means?" and they were like, "I don't know, you threw a dildo or something through the air." It's like, no, but I wish that's what it fucking meant.
Yeah.
My mum says some right weird shit, mate. She still says "hellas" like. You remember that thing like
Will I Eckers like?
yeah, shit like that. She also says higgledy piggledy.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this on a recent podcast.
She says some shit, mate. I just thought she says it in a cringe, just with every cell in my body just cringes.
It's all higgledy pickledy.
Yeah, fucking northerners, man.
Yeah.
My dad says, like, I don't understand it. Like, isn't saying "nout" a northern thing?
Yeah, it comes from Old English "naught."
But my dad came from Bristol, and he's the only person I've ever met who says "nout."
I say it.
What,
I actually
nout?
type it sometimes. So I can't be asked saying
I hear people say "note."
no. Yeah, no. I say no.
My dad says "nout."
What are you doing? No.
Yeah.
Nout.
I was like, "Yo, Dad, what you doing?"
Your dad's
Nout.
accent. Your dad's accent is out of this world, mate.
I don't. I was thinking about this as well recently, but I don't spot it. Like my dad doesn't have an accent for me. Like
I haven't seen him. I've seen him sparingly in the past like 3 years, but every time I've spoke to him, I've just been like, "Oh fuck yeah, I can't understand him." So I'm like, "What?"
that's not his accent. That's just he slurs his words
he slurs
together,
his words a lot.
and he speaks quite fast sometimes.
Did we talk about? I feel like we did, but did we talk about how he got into an accident and the doctor thought he had a brain injury because of the way he talks?
Yeah, like I think it does have a brain injury, but I don't know whereabouts in his life it happened. It could have been when he had that massive fall, the most recent one.
Yeah.
But ever since I was a kid, he's always been banging his head. And he always does this ritual, right? Like he'll get down on his hands and knees to fix something at the bottom, near the floor. And when he stands up, he'll forget that he's had to crawl under something to get there, and he'll just whack his head off of something. Usually really sharp and cornery, right?
Yeah.
And every time, without fail, he goes, "Ow, shit, bastard."
Shit on it, shit on it.
But he says bastard weird. He goes, "Bastard."
Bastard.
He says
I've got a
vehicle
combine
weird.
harvester.
We could do 1,000 episodes on the shit my dad does and things,
I want
weird
to, mate.
things.
You should start chronicling it. It could be a segment.
But like, it
What's
says
actually his dad done this week?
it says vehicle weird. It's like he says vehicle.
Vehicle.
Yeah. It's like he puts an R in it somewhere, but I can't pinpoint where. It's really weird.
One of the most amusing things to come out of your dad's accent was obviously my girlfriend's from France, and the first time she met him, like we were gearing up to it, being like she's not gonna know
I was
a
looking forward.
word he say. At the time, anybody with sort of anybody who's lazy with the Yorkshire accent, like we'll put an effort in to be at least coherent when we speak. But there's some people put Yorkshire accent on proper full, like, and they'll talk like this all the time, and it's proper hard for Candice to understand what they're saying. Cause,
Yeah, and they'll just cut syllables out everywhere.
yeah, exactly. So Candice would struggle with stronger accents like that. She doesn't so much now. In fact, her French accent has become a Yorkshire accent. She talks just like I do now.
Yeah.
Save for one or two words, but it's not major. But then when she met your dad, like, she couldn't understand a word he was saying. Like, me and you were just translating everything he said. And even I was struggling. Like, I translated wrong, and then you correct me with the correct translation.
I've lived with my dad for 25 years, right? And there's still times where he says something, I'm like, what the fuck are you saying?
Oh, it's great. I wish we could get your dad on the podcast.
I love my dad. But yeah, like you were saying, his brain injury, he went to go get, like, it was like some sort of diagnosed thing, or like they went to assess him or whatever.
Oh, I thought you said assess him. I'm like, what's assess him?
Assess him or whatever. And like he'd be talking and he'd finish his sentence halfway through, but for him that's all he wanted to say. And then she'd start talking, and then he'd remember, like, oh, I need to say this about that thing as well. And then he'd continue saying stuff that wasn't related to the question she just asked.
Yeah.
But he's done that all my life, mate. You know, like, I don't know what goes on in his brain, but I'd love to spend just 1 hour in there.
Yeah.
There's been so many times where I've been sat on the couch, my dad walks past the living room, and I'm like, oh, Dad, quick, while you're here, I'll ask him a question like, oh, where's this or that, or like, do you remember what time this is happening or whatever, and he'll look at me in the eyes after I've asked the question, and he'll walk off.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
All right. And like, he don't understand when he says something to me, and I don't understand what he's just said, so I'm like, what did you say? He'll repeat it, but while he's walking away from me. So I don't understand it again. I'm like, what did you say? And he'll repeat it again. But by the time he's repeated it, he's at the other end of the fucking building. And so I've got to chase him down, fucking hold him, get him to look at me in the eyes and be like, what did you say? He's a good dad. He's really funny. Yeah. And there's never a dull moment. Yeah. Like, he's always doing something stupid. Colloquialisms, he cannot get his head around. Like, have you ever heard of like put the door ajar or something like that? Like, you know, set the door ajar. So like, it's just a little bit open and stuff. He says, put the door on its jar, and I'm like, how does that make sense in your head? He doesn't like if we've subscribed to a service and we don't like it anymore. He'll say to my mum, right? He won't say you should cancel it. He says you should counsel it. I'm like, Dad, counsel and cancel are different words. Yeah. We can't counsel a service, man. He's funny guy. But fucking
he just calls the Council of the Parsons. Is like, okay, on today's agenda, we're thinking about stopping Netflix.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
I have an uncle called Martin.
Uncle Martin.
And he genuinely talks with the thickest Yorkshire accent ever. It's really nice to listen to. There's just something about it that's just really... It's really gruff, and it sounds like he's worked in a coal mine for his entire life. Yeah. But there's just something really pleasant about the way he says things. And he's like when I was there the last time, he asked my Auntie Tina... my Auntie Tina said, do you want a coffee, Martin? And he was like, "Nah, you're all right, mate," to his wife.
Oh, my dad does this thing where he'll if there's a bunch of people around, like my sister will be there, her boyfriend will be there, right? For some reason he always really likes my sister's boyfriends. So he'll come into the room, we're all sat there, and I'm like, "Does anyone want a cup of tea or a coffee?" He waits for my sister's boyfriend to be like, "Oh yeah, Bill, I'll have a cup of tea or I'll have a coffee," you know. And then he'll immediately walk off and wait for anyone else. He just gets his little fucking order, like, "Oh yeah, I'll have a coffee," and fucking gone.
Yeah, I've been there when like he's asked everyone if they want a coffee. Everyone says yes. Usually I do it, and then he'll leave, come back with coffees for everyone, and then you'll be like, "Where's my coffee, Dad? Yeah, is it in the kitchen?" And he's like, "Go make it yourself."
Yeah, he's fucking mental. Like, we have barbecues, and my dad's, in fact, my parents' musical taste isn't inspired at all. Like, they'll just listen to whatever was on the radio in 1970 or 1960 or whatever, like pop. You know, like my dad his favourite musicians are Madonna and Michael Jackson. Like, king and queen of pop.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dad, you grew up in a time where there were like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, all that shit were popular, and you ended up liking pop music. Every guy I've talked to who's around your age has been super into progressive rock and whatnot, and like, you know, and whatever, but he hates Pink Floyd and shit. He likes Enya though. Ugh. Anyway.
What's Enya?
Enya
business. I feel like I'm having major deja vu.
Anyway, so like we'll have a barbecue, and he'll put his fucking little shitty iPod on, and we're playing his music. So we're playing in Michael Jackson, which will be followed up by like Madonna or something, just a bunch of 60s music that isn't bad, but like after fucking 25 years of hearing it, you're like, fuck off, please. Yeah. And I've been trying to battle with them for ages. Let me create a playlist of music that I know everyone will enjoy, and even if not everyone enjoys every song on there, you know, like, it's not a big deal.
With it for 3 minutes, another song comes on.
Yeah.
I say this at work all the time. We've got a work playlist. One song comes on for 2 seconds that somebody don't like, and it's like, "Oh, change this shit." It's like, what? It's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But with it, somebody else does like it.
Innit?
I don't get that.
So yeah, I've been battling for years and years from let me make a playlist for barbecues or any sort of situation, because I like all sorts of music, like so many genres of music I fucking love. But my dad just sees me as the typical, like, you know, my 13-year-old self who only listens to like heavy metal with screamo like lyrics and, you know, vocal styles and shit.
Yeah.
And I've you know tried to explain to him that that's not who I am anymore. I still listen to that shit, but I like other shit as well.
Yeah.
But they've never let me do it. And then Danny complained once at a recent barbecue. Danny is obviously my sister's boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, people who don't know. He complained once about the music being a bit, you know, bland and boring. And then the next time we were discussing getting ready for barbecue, my dad's like, "Oh, we should get a playlist that, you know, Danny can enjoy as well." I'm like, "You fucking asshole!" Always been like that. You know, like, it's just mental. Like, I'll want something, or Helen will want something to change or something to happen, and they won't be up for it. As soon as my sister's boyfriends mention it, they'll be like, yeah, we can do that. Assholes.
It's clearly affected you.
It really has. Does made it. To be honest, mate, like, I'm their only son. They should worship the ground I walk on. And most of the
You'll
time,
be king someday.
most of the time they do, right? But then, like, we'll have a lodger who's, like, down on his luck and he's got nowhere to live, so my mum being super kind, only to strangers, not family members, she'll be like, yeah, come live with us, you know, I'll be fine. And then she'll not want to hear anything I have to say. She'll not interested in me. She'll be treating this new lodger guy as her new favourite son. And I'm like, hello?
Oh, man. I feel sorry for you.
I'm not really bothered, but, like...
You sound bothered.
I wouldn't be bothered. It's just like most of the time they treat me like they should treat me, and I'm like a king, you know.
They should treat me.
and then when the door, it's like I'm not bothered, but like so much changed, and I don't like it. It does me head in. It's not. I'm not even like just being narcissistic. Like all from my life, my parents have treated me better than they have treated Helen, because like Lorna moved out pretty quickly.
These are your older sisters, obviously.
Yeah. And like Helen wanted a drum set for Christmas because she wanted to learn. She was getting into music. She wanted to learn how to play drums. And at the same time, I was getting into music and I was learning how to play guitar. I got my guitar for my Christmas present. Helen did not get her drums.
Oh man.
Helen wanted her bedroom painted red because she was like going through a goth phase, and red was one of the colours that you're allowed to like as a goth, others being black and purple. And Mum was like, no, it's an angry colour. And then like a week later, she's like, what colour do you want your bedroom to be painted, Ash? I'm like, red. And they're like, okay. So I have a red bedroom. Just shit like that. It just happened all the time. Like Helen wanted a PlayStation 3 for one Christmas. I wanted an Xbox 360. I got my Xbox 360. Helen didn't get a PS3. So Helen was always like just shafted with things like that.
You're the youngest though.
Yeah, I've obviously I've always been the youngest. But I'm the youngest child and I'm the only son they've got. So, and my dad is he's obsessed with carrying on bloodlines for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird. My dad used to be like that. He used to be like, you've got to get married. You need to carry on the handling name. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
And so obviously
medieval England is this?
In it, like, so my dad, Lorna isn't my dad's biological daughter. He met my mum and he just became her dad, and she calls him dad to this day, and she treats him like her real dad, which is really nice and beautiful and that. But then he gets my mum pregnant and he has a daughter, and then he gets her pregnant again, he has a son, and that's all I need. I think that's all he wanted to do as a son. So obviously my dad...
If you were a girl, you might have had many other sisters until a son came.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, the fact that I'm the youngest and the only son they've got, it adds to the, you know, favoritism that I receive from him.
Yeah.
Which has worked out brilliantly for me as a kid. Like, Helen would do something that isn't really bad, but it's on the, you know, bit of a naughty side. And immediately they'd be coming down on her like a ton of bricks, like, you know, calling her all sorts of names, grounding her and shit.
What are you doing running through the fields of wheat?
I'd do something that was really bad. Like, I should have been locked up for it. And they'd be like, oh, it's okay, Ash, it wasn't that bad. You know, like, it was a bit naughty, but you don't be upset. I'm not upset. I'm just pretending to be upset. It was all my life, like, I'd be treated a different way and Helen would be treated another way. It was like, you ever seen that thing that floats around Facebook where it's like, the first child's like, I'm the reason the rules were made, and stuff like that, and then everyone like, I'm the reason like I broke the rules or something like that, and then there's the third child that's like the rules just don't apply for me, and that's literally what it's like for us, you know, or something like that, you know, because Lana was the good child.
Yeah.
She was always helping out, and she was super pleasant and sweet and stuff like that. Helen was a problem child, always causing problems for my parents and whatnot. I was also a problem child, but they just didn't give a shit. They didn't care that I was a problem child. They just loved everything I did and stuff like that. Always praising me, even if what I did was complete shit, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's brilliant, Ash." So it just filled my head with all sorts of shit. And honestly, I was like, "Oh, maybe I am like God's gift to humanity." I should look into that.
Yeah, you were very narcissistic when I first met you. You're still pretty narcissistic.
Yeah,
but you've come down to earth to live among the common folk a little bit.
If anything, in my narcissism since I met you has got better. Like not better, but like what's the word for it? More extreme,
stronger,
worrying. I just have a better handle on suppressing it.
Yeah.
But if I let it like open up the tap a little bit to let a little bit of the narcissism out for comedy,
you end up doing a podcast about how you're the best child.
Yeah, if I open up the tap just a little bit for a little drop of narcissism to come out just for comedic sake, I find it very hard to stop turning the tap, you know, or just turn it the other way. Like it just flows out.
I do find that kind of stuff funny. Narcissism, cynicism.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Nihilism.
Nihilism.
I find all that shit funny.
You know, nihilism is funny.
It is very funny.
Everything I do is funny. Do you see what happened? The tap just walked turn.
How long have we got left?
We've got it's like 56 minutes, I think now. So
right,
we've got like at most 4 minutes of my narcissism. So good for you, man.
I had plenty of games I wanted to talk about, but we ended up
talking about me. Just how I planned.
Well, some of them can wait until next time, but I'll just fill this last time slot with talking about Abzu. Did you manage to play it yet?
I've not managed to play it yet, dude.
Oh, you need to. It's so good. Like you could play it here this weekend, mate. It'll take you 2 hours to finish.
Yeah,
it's completely gorgeous.
I'm gonna play it. Obviously, I mean, I love Journey, and it's made by this exact same.
Yeah,
dude,
it's basically Journey underwater.
Yeah,
with fish.
It's just I've got so many games to play.
Me too. Really.
I've got like 30, and that's just I'm sure I'm missing out a lot of games there.
Well, any games that you've got that you need to play, I've also got.
I've got like 30 games queued up, ready to get platted, but I just can't find the time.
Yeah,
I've just got into the Division after I got halfway through my trophy list with Dead Rising, and I was so ready to plat it. Until I found out there's a trophy that you get, mate, right? I've told you about it, but I don't know if you read the message, because sometimes you don't.
No, yeah, I remember, yeah.
There's a mode called Infinity Mode, right? And all you got to do is survive as long as you can. And I think your health constantly ticks down, right?
Right. Can't you just hide somewhere safe and leave the game?
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get all the food I can. I'm gonna get a big map of where all the food locations are.
Uh-huh.
Get all the highest healing ones, so like which I think is like big jugs of orange juice, coffee creamer, milk and stuff like that. I'm gonna get all that. You fill your pockets with it. You go to a safe location where zombies can't get you. Throw it all down on the floor or whatever, and you just wait until you need to drink some of it, and that'll take up hours and hours. But the point is, you got to survive for 7 days in game, and in game day is 2 hours. So altogether, it's a 14-hour playthrough of Infinity Mode.
That is ridiculous.
But yeah, I was going through that. I've got a few like miscellaneous trophies. Like I've got to do Frank the Pimp, which means I've got to have 8 female survivors. There's also a trophy for just having 8 survivors in your group at once. Yeah. So those 2 will stack. I'll just do that. I'll go for the female one, and the other one will pop as well. And then other than that, I've got 2 more PP stickers to take photographs of. And then I've got to smash 100 objects, and I've smashed so many in my first 2 playthroughs, so that'll be done in like seconds, I should imagine. And then once like those sort of like trophies are done, which are all really small trophies I can get done, I've just got to do those. And I was so close to it, but then I bought the Division instead, so... I was also playing Dragon's Dogma at the side of that, and
I saw you've been playing that.
The Mummy game as well, which is
the Mummy Demastered is really good.
Yeah, it's a shame the movie sucked.
Yeah.
Fucking movie's awful.
The silver lining is the movie made that game possible. It's basically just Metroid.
Yeah,
I love Metroid games. The side-scrolling ones. Metroid Prime I'm a big fan of as well, but I really do prefer the sort of side-scrolling explorers.
I had a peek of the trophy list, so I could because I've got every single trophy I need up to this point. And I think I just finished. I don't know how far through the game you are and when we did Mastered, but I just finished the headquarters bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I looked and I think there's like, you get those, you got like a little artifact that let you like grab onto the ceiling and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one that lets you run faster, so
Yeah.
you can make bigger jumps and get to higher places and all that. I think there's one where it stops you from getting knocked back every time you get hit.
Oh, that's great.
Which I'm so sick
the
of.
amount of times a bat has knocked me off a cliff, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, innit? So I'm looking forward to that. But I have like 4 extra health packs now as well, so I've got loads of health.
I've only got 2.
It goes so fast.
Yeah, it looks to be a short game, which considering one of the trophies is to not die for a full
which I've managed to do so far.
Playthrough. Oh, no way.
Yeah. It's been really fucking like. I'm surprised I've still got a beard between the World Cup and this game.
No, but it's just like Metroid, you find power ups and it lets you into further areas of the game and stuff.
Right at the first area, well, after the little intro bit, which there's also a trophy for not dying there as well.
I didn't.
Yeah, so you would have got that. I didn't either. So after that bit, it drops you off, and like right to the left off the screen, there's like a big metal door, and there's a skill I think, or like an item that lets you open those.
Yeah.
Which I haven't got yet, but I imagine there'll be a point in the game where I should go around and collect all the hidden collectibles, and I think there's a trophy for unlocking every square of the map.
Yeah.
As well, so I'll probably have to do all that at some point, and then go and finish the game off, and I'll have that fucking plat. But it's just. I bought Neo in that sale. I've not even launched it. I've got it downloaded. I've not launched it yet.
God, that was fucking ages ago.
I know, man. I bought so many games recently I've just not played yet.
Yeah.
I'm
downloading The Division at the moment, but to be honest, I'm only ever going to play it with you. So we might have to put it on that other PS4 as well.
Yeah.
But it's 18 gig and it's taken me several years of my life to get it installed.
It's bigger than 18 gig.
Oh, no, it's 18 gig to play.
Yeah. Because I got the gold edition, so it's like 55 gig or something, I think, altogether.
Nice.
Which is cool because it comes with a survival DLC, which I think everyone really liked.
Well,
when I
got Assassin's Creed Origins, that was like 80 gig or something. That took a full weekend of my PS4 on the whole weekend.
Either, man. Like, there's just.
I finished it. I just don't want to play it.
I've not finished it. I want to play it and everything as well.
But it's pretty high on my trophy advisor as
same
getting a plat for it. But just some of the stuff they want you to do is so boring. They could at least make it fun.
Yeah. That's why, it's really cool that Spotify can play through your PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'll just probably do that. Whenever I get around to finishing the game and I start platinum it. It doesn't sound good, but whatever. I'm going to just do that, You launch Spotify, get a good playlist up, and do that. But I've got, like, at the very least 30 games that need to be platted. And then like there's so many more in my library. I've got like 220 games, maybe more now, and I've not even played most of them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. These sales that PlayStation keep doing, like good on them for being total bros and shit. But Jesus Christ, give me a minute.
I think we got Darksiders 2 from a PS Plus package once. Like one of the monthly games.
Oh yeah, that was ages ago.
And I bought the Darksiders 1 remastered edition or whatever with all the DLC. That was on sale fucking months ago, and I bought that. I've not even downloaded it.
I don't know what it's about.
It's about the apocalypse. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and all that shit.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So like the Earth gets ravaged and destroyed by like demons and angels and that, and you are. I think you play Death. Or War, one of the horsemen basically.
Okay.
And I think some demon or angel pins the whole apocalypse on you. And I think you've basically got to redeem yourself throughout the game.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, the reason I bought the first one is because we got the second one and the third one's being worked on.
Yeah.
Where I think you play like the main character's like sister or something like that, who's a different demon or angel or whatever. So yeah, that's why I bought that. I've not even fucking launched it, and there's so many games I've not played, and I need to play.
Yeah.
I bet I've got like close to 50 platinums, maybe more.
I want to
Just
get
sat in the library waiting.
I want to get Monster Hunter platted, but there's still so much for me to do, and I only play it when you're here. So once every 2 weeks, we'll play like 5 hours of it, maybe.
We're so close. We just need to do the arena quests.
Well, you're close. I've got so much shit and still need to do.
Yeah.
And there's those fucking creatures that have a 1% chance of showing up as well that we've got to try and find.
Fucking yeah, I've got like 2 of them left, and it's the most annoying ones. But yeah, like aside from that, those 2 trophies for the last 2 ones, you'll have 4 now. Like I think there's 4 rare creatures.
I tried to get the fish, but I spent like an hour on that and didn't see it. So.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was rare until the trophy pond. I wish it was like that for the other fucking 2. There's I think the beetle one. That must be like.
Unless that was the same tree apparently.
Yeah,
you can just run laps of the area.
And it always appears at like dawn, I think.
Yeah,
dusk.
something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, like we just need to do the arena fucking trophies, mate, and then the rest of it is just progression. Like we must have so much XP built up that once we finish this thing,
Kirin quest,
the Kirin quest, we'll be instantly maxed out again, and we'll have to do another quest, which I think is going to be fucking awful to do, but whatever, we'll do it. And then the rest is just like crowns and that, which is just you get from playing the game.
Yeah. So before we close things up, going back to what I originally wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Abzu.
Abzu.
So I've got all the trophies on it. There's no platinum, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
But it was still worth it.
Yeah.
So the music is fucking beautiful, mate. The story, there's not a word said.
Same like Journey?
Yeah, but it's completely heart-wrenching. Like, Journey was just a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Abzu is such a touching story. Like, it really fucking bicycle kicks you in the feels, mate. It's ridiculous. It's so good. The music just swells up at all the right points as well.
Yeah.
There's some really cool secrets to find. There's these like shark statues, and you can sit on the top of them, and it saves it as a meditation point.
Yeah.
And so when you start the game up, you don't actually have to play the game. You can just click the meditate option, and you can pick which area you want to meditate in, because they all have different types of fish.
Yeah.
So like if you want to, it's basically like those old aquarium wallpapers used to be able to get.
Screensavers.
Yeah, but there's a bit more going on, like Predators Elite, smaller fish and stuff. And
yeah.
then you can pick what fish you want to follow around, so the camera will follow a fish around that area, and like you can switch to like a whale or whatever and watch that go around. It's
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've been wanting to get a moment where I can just relax and stick that on the TV and just chill out. But I'm just really busy and particularly stressed at the moment. So not had a chance to do it.
Yeah, I knew Abzu would be, it'd be a good game. I do like games like that get a really awful like stigma, like like walking simulators, where it's all more about the art rather than the game itself.
That's what I originally was expecting when I opened the game.
But I do enjoy like the very artsy type games.
Cause I wouldn't say it's too artsy, actually. It's just a really good time. Because usually with artsy games, they'll take something away from you to force you to go through it slowly.
Yeah.
But you can go your own pace in Abzu. You really can. Just like you can stick around and explore and find all the secrets you want, or you can just go through the journey that's been placed in front of you. You come to these like sections where you can just stick around for a bit, meditate. Unlock some new fish and stuff like that, or you can just keep going and follow this really beautiful story that's just going on in the background.
I do like games like that because it just proves the point that that fucking making games is like an art. It's an art form, and there's people who don't play games and they'll just say shit like, video games are violent, it's all about killing people and shit like that. And it's nice.
Video games are for kids as well.
Yeah, and it's just nice to throw that in the face and be like, nope, video games it's such a broad like subject. Like Sure, there's games where it's just about being the burliest fucking dude around, the angriest motherfucker, and cutting people up with big ass chainsaws or shooting them.
Yeah, I
like
never
that.
really enjoyed Gears of War just because it was just that. It was just fucking macho fodder, and
But like,
I wanted something a bit more.
even in games like that though, there's like a really nice storyline and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then there's games like sports games, there's racing games, there's art games, there's fucking all sorts of games out there. I mean, there's simulators and shit, and just for people to be all like to just boil it down to just it's about violence.
Yeah,
Pisses me off. But we're almost an hour and 10 minutes, so let's
all right, cool. Let's wrap it up.
let's wrap it up.
Thank you for listening. Please follow us on Instagram, Untitled-2 Podcast, and Twitter at UT2Cast. We post highlights every single day from previous podcasts, and we'll see you next week. Oh,
Aye.
and make sure you tune in next week because it's going to be a good one.
Enjoy this outro because it won't be the same.
It may not be the same.
All right, see ya.
Bye.